You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty. This is episode number 387 of the St. Joe's Paper Podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell with a minor head wound as I put my headphones on. Bones and Chase are laughing at me. This is the St. Joe's Paper Podcast.
Not because you hurt yourself either.
Just because I'm easy to laugh at.
Yeah.
Oh, we are road warrior weary. At least I am. 1,000 miles in the book so far this week. Check Patreon to know what that's all about. It's Wednesday because Chase has a special engagement Thursday night.
Very excited.
It's from a secret society, so we can't talk about why he has to be here Wednesday.
Or what he has to do.
But we all changed our calendar so that Chase could get to his thing on Thursday.
Thank you. On today's episode, we will be talking about Indiana Doge. I read that as Indiana Dodge.
Yes, Indiana Dodge.
State Road 3 reconstruction. I'm sure they're about to get stuff done. County news and sports.
Yes. And maybe we'll talk about some April Fool's stuff too. We'll see how it goes. This podcast today was put together on my drive back from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania today. My boss took over driving the truck for about a half an hour and I just kind of winged it. So this is good enough. This should be fun. So we'll see what kind of a hot mess this turns into. But no, I'm sure it's going to be a great show. Tune in. These are always the best versions.
They are.
Stick with us. You got the Cadbury egg out of your mouth yet?
Yes.
It's awful chewy. This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you'll always learn something new. Chase, if somebody is a member of our Patreon, what happens?
You get a shout out. Jonathan Phillips, Wetzel Ford.
Over in Richmond, Indiana.
Varsity Outfitters, Blake Reese.
Yes.
Thomas Oaks, Walnut Ridge RV.
You ready to go buy a camper yet?
One day.
Soon. Yep, that's where you can get your Ford truck, your camper, and then all your special camping attire.
There we go.
All three.
I need a new Ford.
Maybe an Indiana Dodge.
Maybe it'll say a used Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want a Ford truck, Bones has got one. I got invited to Bones' house last week, and we tried some very nice bourbon that he had. And there was a Ford truck that looked like Chase Peyton used to own it, Bones.
Okay.
What year is that truck?
09.
A 2009 Ford. What year is your Ford you had?
In 09.
09. All right. So it's equal. How many miles were on your truck, Chase, when you were very happy with it?
When I was happy with
when
it,
you got
or
it,
when it died?
No, when it was brand new.
96,000 miles. 93,000 miles.
How many miles are on this one in your driveway?
193.
It's still young.
It's still a baby.
I got 280 out of mine.
So it's got 100,000 miles left. Have you still got 4 good tires?
It drove great until about 260.
Have you got good tires on the one you got now? Are the tires good?
I think so.
Bones. I think we've got an opportunity here.
I think we do.
So Bones has one in his driveway that's been sitting for a minute. It's on 4 flats. But if we take the tires and wheels off the truck you have, move them over, and then we maybe keep that sweet Raptor grill you have, I think we can make a deal.
Yeah, that Raptor grill was cheaper than the regular grill. It lit up for one day.
Why'd you have to put the Raptor grill on?
I smashed a deer.
Killed your first deer with it, didn't you?
Smashed a deer, and then I was like, it wasn't completely dead, and I was like, I need to get out and shoot this thing.
You just back over
and
it
I
with
was
your tire?
like, I don't know, that's legal. So I called the cops, and they shot it. But then I did take it home, and I ate it.
Okay.
So
I think we have a
Bones, I think we can make this happen.
You want a truck?
I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
Let's play a game. We're starting the show. Bones, why don't you write down a price tag on the back of a sheet of paper and slide it across the table. Let's just see what happens.
We watch the negotiations.
I'd like to do this.
Throw me a pen.
Silent. I'm gonna make this happen. This is gonna be great. If you're a patron, you also do get a copy of the show notes. These are some of our more thin show notes that we've had in the history of the show. But they're good.
Remember, we could work with whatever, all right?
All right.
This is the starting point.
Do I get to see the number?
It's not a bad price, Jar.
God damn it, go lower, man. He's telling you he'll go
It's not a bad. I don't know if this is for me yet.
because you haven't seen a picture of the truck.
But I think we can get a listener to buy it.
Okay. Well, now let's, as you're negotiating this, does he have the opportunity to work on the truck in your driveway to get it rolling enough to leave? Or does he have to haul it away?
No. All it needs is aired up tires and probably change the battery. And you're good to go.
Hell, you could borrow the battery from the other truck too.
That's true.
Take that number, cut it in half, and slide it back across the table and see what happens. You guys are talking about some cheap vehicle, right?
What?
This is a pretty cheap vehicle.
Yeah.
The Ford, the 09 Ford with
Yes.
100,000 miles of good life left in it. There's a story that came out today that I wanted to talk about some high end vehicle.
Are we
At
talking
the state level.
sunroofs?
I don't know. Does a high country's got to come with a sunroof, doesn't it? I think it's going to have a sunroof.
I imagine it does.
We're talking,
but there might be a rare option, one that doesn't.
Air or heated steering wheels?
Oh yeah, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Leather interior?
Oh yeah. Yep. All of these things.
Air conditioned seats?
Do you think they have a Bose system?
Probably at least 10 to 12 speakers.
I bet it has
Bluetooth?
14.
So here's where this story started. I'm putting the show notes together today, and I'm on the email distribution list of Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith. And I get a press release that seemed odd. All right. Chase, do you check Chase at bosshogliberty.com? Do you get emails on things? This show gets press releases. And it said, Lieutenant Governor Beckwith is announcing mass spending cuts his office is making after assuming his role as Lieutenant Governor. And it talked about 2 professional development training services they cut. It was $120,000. Okay, whatever, cool. They got rid of a graphic design service for like $27,000. They listed 4 different things. The 4th thing they listed on here was an image hosting service, Flickr, totaling $132.
Ooh, savings.
I get this.
I got cold chills just in the savings.
I get this and I go,
Dave Ramsey would be so proud.
we just sent out an official freaking press release touting $132 in savings. I don't know a damn thing about what their office does, but if the 4th best thing you can brag about today was $132 in savings, leave it off the freaking list, right? That was where I'm at. And then, so those are bullet points. The next line down, the office has already canceled a subscription to the New York Times for $195. So the 5th highest thing on their list is canceling the New York Times for $195.
You got to start somewhere.
You can't have that liberal crap just floating around the office.
So I get this and I think, what the hell? This is a kernel of a story. And I'm like, what happened? What are they responding to? Why would you shoot yourself in the foot like this? This is silly. And then I opened the Indy Star. The Indy Star put a story out today that says that lawmakers have scrutinized new $90,000 taxpayer-funded SUVs for Diego Morrell, our Secretary of State, and Micah Beckwith. They each got new SUVs, 2025 GM SUVs. So Diego Morrell has now a taxpayer-funded $90,000 GMC Yukon Denali that was purchased this last summer. And who wrote this at the Star? Haley Colombo. She's an investigator. Haley Colombo writes, she went to the manufacturer GM. They say that I scrolled wrong. Did you ever scroll wrong? Happened to me. The SUV has a heated steering wheel and a 14-speaker Bose surround system in the car to immerse yourself in luxury.
Ooh.
Lieutenant Governor Beckwith has a 2025 Chevy Tahoe High Country SUV, which was $88,000 that the state bought in February for him. It is the top trim level available for that SUV. Just recently, the governor has signed a new bill that went into law. I guess it'll go into law in July 1st. House Bill 1518, which will make it harder for most state officials to buy vehicles that are luxury or semi-luxury brands It requires the purchase to be a base, standard, or government model of a car, unless there's an exemption granted by the state. I don't know who the hell's going to grant this exemption. The governor? Does the Secretary of State grant their own exemption for the thing?
I've already got a favorite quote in this article, though.
The market price for the 2025 LS, the standard Tahoe, is $59,000. Beckwith decided on the High Country, which is the most expensive model, which includes the signature grille, sill plates, stitching, and badging, and a real wood decor.
Well, I mean, you kind of need that.
It's
Yeah.
also got the bigger engine, so we're going to pay for
I mean, if you're going to be a
gas.
lieutenant governor, you want to be the shitty ass lieutenant governor in an LS, or
Here's this fun quote though that I like. We needed a car that was big enough for the guys on my team because the previous lieutenant governor had a smaller car. She had a bunch of women that would travel with her, and we got some big guys to go with us.
Were they in a Prius?
I don't know, but he literally was like,
the
"Yo,
Mazda Miata.
He kind of said like, "Yo, it was a chick before. I got bros, man. We can't roll like that." It's like seriously.
You gotta have shoulder room for my boys.
Beckwith says that car prices are going through the roof, and Chevy isn't a luxury brand, and he needed a larger car to fit his team. So
He is right. I mean, he could have gone with the Cadillac Escalade.
he could have gone the Escalade.
Yeah, but he got the Tahoe.
he got
that's
the-
flirting with Escalade money.
They both got the premier top end editions
Yes.
of what they got.
I think they should pivot and get one of those Tesla trucks. That way they save
Cybertruck.
money on
Fuel.
gas.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm looking at this and I'm just laughing that this is where we're at. We're in full pettiness mode. It's budget season. The local governments are going to get a huge funds decrease, and they're pissing and moaning over a $20,000 difference in price on these SUVs.
Well, and they said the Star had like asked for what's everybody else driving, and there was somebody else that was driving like a Ram, and then the comptroller is driving a 2018 Highlander that was bought by a previous administration, and was like, so she can roll around in a Highlander, but Beckwith and his bros need a. I mean, that quote was just hilarious. Like, he chooses to have a staff that need a bigger vehicle, so I need the $88,000 truck.
Hey man, the average staffer we weighed everybody weigh in when they got hired, and most of them go 240 or above. Okay, we
So it
can't
justifies.
We're going to exceed the gross vehicle. I'd love to know what
This man pisses off a lot of taxpayers, and his security team is yoked. He is big, okay? He needs security that can pack a punch.
I wonder what Lieutenant Crouch was driving. It does make me really wonder what Lieutenant Crouch was driving to Lieutenant Governor. I wonder if that's man. They should have looked that up just for that quote.
So State Senator Blake Doriot of Goshen was the Senate sponsor, and he says, I wouldn't drive a vehicle like that, but then again, I drive an 11-year-old pickup truck and a Subaru.
I didn't know the dude was a lesbian.
You know, the Subaru is one of the most Indiana vehicles you can get, right?
You know, I've been seeing a lot of Subarus, and every time I see one on the road, I'm like, I kind of like it. And then I was like, nah, I can't drive one.
You can't. Oh, you can.
I'd rock a Subaru. I wouldn't care.
I think some of them are cool looking.
Yeah, but they're not. You get the right one though. You have to package it right or like spec it right. But yeah, it's not a luxury brand. I just got the most luxurious version of it that happens to be only $30,000 more expensive than the normal one.
So here's the question. Is there any reason why they can't roll around in the standard Tahoe?
No,
Is that a picture of
$59,000?
it, Jer?
Yes, there's a picture the Indy Star has. This is a very detailed story.
I mean, it's nice.
It's long. Yeah, you scroll.
First of all, the picture the Indy Star shows of the vehicle is that it is parked on the line. Okay, it's a poor parking job by whoever Diego's driver is. It's backed in next to the State House. It is literally next to the steps, but there next to the steps is this big limestone wall that is at least 15 feet tall. And they probably shouldn't have the line where it is, because to get the door open, you're probably going to ding the door on this 15-foot tall limestone wall of the $90,000 Denali. But they did park on the line, which is really shitty. He backed it, and he fancy.
But I'm
parked
looking
it,
at
Zach.
this, and
Why are we not getting cars that are made in Indiana?
I mean,
So
You think that would save a little bit of
the
face?
driver And then you might be able to fit 3 big boys in that.
If they had, I mean, it has to have third row seating.
Yeah, but you
But
can't.
do you want to flip
you
the seat
can fit
forward?
one big boy in.
There's
in
not
the
one
third
person
row.
in this room that fits in that third row. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Bones, just do something else with your legs, man. Throw them over the seat. I've climbed in the third row before.
I have 2, and I
Hell,
don't fit.
This winter in my 08 Tahoe, the lieutenant governor would never.
Oh God,
would
no.
never. It's a Z71 LZ. LT. It's
just the LT?
It's the
Yeah.
LT, but Z71 off-roading.
You better not even show up the same.
I've got to
zip
have
code.
those for Henry County potholes. They got to off-road. I had to climb over the back seats because the doors were frozen shut this winter. I had to like climb from the back to the front. It was some true athleticism from a 41-year-old man.
You don't look a day over 33.
That's
Jay.
why I love you, Chase Peyton.
You look way over 40.
Turn Bones mic off. This abuse is just untenable. Untenable. People are checking in on the weather. Hey, everybody. So far in East Central Indiana, we're okay. If it gets really bad, I'm going to have Zach throw the door open so we can do live weather spotting.
Oh yeah, that'd be
If it turns bad. But so far, we're doing fine.
right now that Weather Channel says that our weather will arrive at 9:15.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a good chance somebody's losing their house today in the storms because they go from pretty much Little Rock, Arkansas, all the way to Chicago. We just don't know where. That's your weather report.
Oh yeah, there's like a little clipper. It's in Muncie. Yeah, the big lines. It's coming. It's still just in western Indiana.
I looked. So I have to have a new vehicle every 5 years for work. As of today, I think my next vehicle probably is a Tahoe 3-liter diesel, but the $58,000 version of it is just fine.
Yeah, I don't even think that there's like the. There's governments. They still got like government spec. I think you could probably get a government spec one that still looked good. Like I don't. Yeah, it just
Any
seems.
2025 Chevy SUV is going to look fine.
Yeah.
They're all going to roll up like the
Yeah.
big government vehicles.
At least avoid the high country. Go like GMC AT4. Go like AT4. You go like Opera Vax one or something like that. But you just when you go straight to Denali, that's a
You're
vehicle.
too pimped out.
That's a vehicle that is that's a spec that is. I don't quite want it. It's really for people that don't want something as flashy as an Escalade, but
But they want all the
right
comfort
up
of it.
to it. You're
we
right up
can't
into
quite afford an Escalade. We couldn't quite make that stretch.
it. What's an Escalade starting at? I don't know. Escalades are obnoxious too. They're 6-figure trucks now, but I wouldn't be
Yeah, but
shocked.
those
if
are
you
really nice, though.
This is like a perfect wheelhouse conversation for Zach.
Oh yeah,
Trim level of car.
Yeah.
Political nitpicking over trim level of car
the high country
is the perfect problem for Zach.
the high
Burcham.
country is like that's a tier, a high end spec that just came into existence in the last couple of years. Like that was a spec that was not around a couple of years ago, and then they 3-row Escalade starts at 87.5.
He could have gone Escalade.
So he literally
got the base
but it's
level
politically bad to spend $3,000 less and have a cattle.
But I understand it, but I'm like when he says it's not luxury, both of them spec'd a vehicle into Cadillac Escalade territory, and we all know that Cadillac Escalades are just like I jokingly call them, they're Tahoe shellacked in $100 bills. Like you're paying extra to have it look good.
They do look good, though.
I mean, sometimes some of the specs have been pretty ugly, but they have a presence for sure. You could get like a Jeep Grand Cherokee and nobody. I bet you could get a Grand Wagoneer and nobody even thought like, oh, that's $115,000. But everybody knows what a Denali in a high country is.
I think Chase is right. They should have gone that we have a Chevy assembly plant in Indiana that makes quad cab pickup trucks. They should have gone Silverado.
Yeah, crew
1500
cab.
Silverado crew
Yeah.
cab, rolled in that, and nobody could have bitched. And it would be there's an Indiana made product.
Yeah.
And gone with it. It's an American nameplate. I think that the political mistake was, going out and buying the Denali. There is a Denali Ultimate as well. That's another $20,000 on top.
Yeah.
If I was Diego and I'm such a heel, I'd be like, look, I didn't go to Denali Ultimate.
Yeah.
Okay. if
I didn't get the mag ride. I just got the
I don't have Super Cruise.
I mean, he is such a well.
Diego Morales last week was in the news because he disappeared from the state for 10 days. He went to India on a economic development mission, which immediately everybody said, that's not your job. You're an administrator. But he's got a $90,000 SUV parked at the airport.
Probably waiting for him. What if it get delivered to the airport for him? It's like he is a wealth of content in terms of what he thinks he can. I mean, like until they throw him in jail, he'll just keep doing stuff. It's just
I don't think the Chevy Silverado is made in Indiana.
Yeah, it is.
Where?
is there a
Fort
spec
Wayne.
of it?
No.
In
Everywhere
Roanoke.
I've seen on the internet, Chevy Silverado is made in Texas.
No, the Tahoe and the Suburban are made in Texas.
Okay.
Those are assembled in Arlington, Texas.
Okay. I got nothing that says Chevy.
There are 2 plants that make the half-ton Shelby Silverado. Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is like actually Roanoke, Indiana, and like Cialo, Mexico. Yeah, Ron Milford. I would think all the Indy trucks are made in Fort Wayne this year for this year's 500. Exactly. And that's the thing. I wouldn't even go GMC. I'd just go because GMC you're paying an extra, 5% more just to go GMC. They could have had the same effect. Chevy Tahoe.
You could have got almost any Toyota.
Yeah,
Made
I looked
Princeton.
up the list of vehicles are made, and they should just give them. They should give Micah Beckwith a Subaru.
Yeah.
He needs a big one. Give me
Honda
Ascent.
Civic
A Honda Civic.
It's
made in Greensburg.
You get a Toyota minivan.
Yeah, the Ascent, the Crosstrek, the Legacy, and the Outback for Subaru are made in the end, and the Civic hatchback, the CRV, and the Insight, and then Toyota.
He would have needed 5 Honda Civics, one for each of his staff members.
and then the
but you get the Toyota minivan.
yeah, Toyota makes the Lexus TX, the Toyota Grand Highlander, the Highlander, and the Sienna. And the Sienna is
Is
a
the
hot
Sienna made
vehicle.
in Indiana? Is that made in
Yeah.
Princeton?
It says
Yeah.
near Princeton, and then General Motors in Fort Wayne makes the Silverado and the GMC Sierra. The Sienna, I bet,
You feel a lot of
those are
pros
hard.
there.
One, they're hard to get. I think they're like really popular, and that's minivans. And I'm at the age, I guess, can be pretty baller when you spec them out right.
I'll tell you
And-
what. If Diego Morales had a Sienna minivan, they could press a button and the door would open straight back, and he would not have to worry about door dinging
That's true.
and parking on the line at
Yeah.
the State House in his parking spot.
That park. By the way, I saw that picture. That parking spot is obnoxious.
Yeah, it's awful.
It is. I mean, it is not. It's just like
It is next to the staircase.
Who needs to be like if people? So people picture a big government institutional building with a big set of
with a
staircases,
50-foot wide staircase.
50-foot wide staircase,
with 15
and
foot
there's
walls on either side.
There's a car size space between the steps and the corner of the building, and his car space is in the corner, is the crook of the steps in the building. Like, who needs to be that close?
I wouldn't
The
want to park.
Secretary of State.
I would not want to park that visibly,
No.
where they're like, "Oh, he's at work today."
Yeah, I want to blend into the parking. Yeah, especially a guy who tends to every couple weeks have the news waiting outside to get a comment from his office about something he's done.
You need to be able to use the tunnel in from the mall and walk in.
Yeah, I'm parking
And
in the
not
mo-
show
I'm parking
up.
in
I'd
the
almost
moon-
Uber in.
It'd be worth the $35 a day to park in the Moon Garage and not have to just anonymously be parked somewhere.
It's the greatest story. This is my new top 5 all-time 2025 winning story.
I mean,
is the fallout for SUVgate
Well,
with the
just for them
Indiana.
to come in and
executive.
tell all the local governments that they need to, like, you guys need to trim your belts, whatever. And by the way, we're going to drop almost $200,000 on 2 SUVs. And one guy's justification is hey, that last lieutenant governor was a chick with chick friends, and I've got bros, and we need space. It was just like, and then Diego, yeah, he kind of bought a gangster car because he's acting like a gangster. Because the Denali's like blacked out except for the grill. Let's try watch it pop up with a blacked out grill. Watch him murder it out for a little extra money.
Chase, you got anything?
That'd be pretty cool.
Chase, you're an elected official. What is the minimum vehicle you would require to do your job? If your job is to go show up and speak at graduations and Chamber of Commerce events and visit community members, what's the minimum vehicle you need to do that job? Like, what's your, not as a person, like the minimum you have to have, but what do you think's appropriate for you if you have?
I got mine.
If I'm going to the smaller towns, I'm driving in a rusty pickup. If I'm going in the cities, bigger towns, I'm getting a nice like Sequoia or something.
Okay. Toyota's go ahead. Bones?
G-Wagon.
You know who he should have really consulted with was like real estate agents, because I think real estate agents have a fine line that they walk with their cars.
You can't be too fancy.
Do you want to be nice enough that you're capable and you look successful, but not nice enough that they realize how much money you're making off of them selling their house? And so I think that's a group that's very careful about and they put a lot more thought into what they bought than these two guys did.
They didn't buy it.
It's
They
a
asked
G-Wagon.
Four of us bought it.
Yeah, yeah. Before they put in the purchase order.
Black Chevy pickup truck. That's what I think that's the right answer. You don't want to sit down in a car. You don't want to sit low. Get a big you get an SUV or a pickup. It's made in Indiana. Get something made in Fort Wayne.
That's why the G-Wagon fits in perfect. Everyone thinks it's a Jeep.
Yeah, but if you get a
where's it
Chevy,
made? I
it's
think
gonna break
I don't
down
think you
all
want to
the
roll in
time.
in a Mercedes.
Why not?
It's not made here. You don't have. There's no tie to Indiana.
That
don't
means
think you
we're
would-
extending our hands out across the country and across the
Think
seas.
of how many times they're gonna have to fix that Denali.
Yeah.
I wonder what and they said upgrade engine, it's a 6.2. So it's like getting like not great gas mileage. They should have gotten it.
Could be the 3-liter.
That diesel would have been sick.
Could be
I'd
the
been like,
3-liter
that's
diesel.
cool. It would have immediately got mad when that part broke.
Ron Milford
broke
says
on
he would have an immaculately cared for brown Ford Pro.
yours. Yeah, yes. That's
I think you just go Hummer.
See, that would have been
Ooh.
fine.
Yeah.
That was an Indiana-made vehicle as well.
yeah. Especially if you get like a military surplus one, just kind of like rapid or whatever. A pickup truck or or a full size SUV like Grand Cherokee.
Mitch Daniels won the governor's office in 2004. He immediately sold the state's planes.
I think he also sold.
This
He
lieutenant
sold
governor,
a lot of the state car, like the motor
Yeah.
pool, I think too,
Yeah.
and they went to a rental model.
This lieutenant governor immediately went out and got a 2025 High Country Chevy truck or SUV.
Well, in Daniel's defense, he really couldn't see over the steering wheel.
You know what though? He didn't have a helipad built to his house.
That's
in his
true.
gated
So
community
that's the
either.
other story that's happened since we were all together is that Governor Braun apparently is having a helipad built in Jasper, Indiana at his home.
Because a guy who on the first day in office told all the state employees you're not allowed to work remote anymore wants to be able to fly to and from his house in Jasper so he can work from home.
So
His house on Meridian's pretty nice,
The house-
by the way.
I don't understand the hate. And I don't know. I can understand a little bit of the issue because when I've been by that house, the political signage outside has not been in agreement. I don't know. I think Holcomb probably did okay. But I bet you might not feel like your neighbors are too big. It's a nice house and it's in the nicest neighborhood. It's not gated Hamilton County
gated.
or whatever, but that is an old money part of town,
Yeah.
and the people around there have been living in those houses forever. So yeah, it's a nice house. I don't get flying to and from. I don't. If he wants to go to and from his house, he should ride in a car.
maybe at Denali.
I mean, Jasper's how far away?
So they're
An
trying
hour?
to build a new road to Jasper.
I bet.
That's been underway for a while. The Mid-States Corridor is what it's called. That's also being protested. So more local news. State Road 3 is getting reconstructed completely. Bones, I don't know how you're going to get here.
Oh boy.
Contract's been awarded to Milestone Contractors of Richmond, Indiana. I think it's about a $35 million job. It's going to take 2 years. And construction is set to start next week.
How's it going to take 2 years?
They usually pick.
They're not just paving.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
They are ripping the road out
completely rebuilding.
and new from the base. It's not just milling.
Oh, okay.
It's all coming out. There are currently 2 lanes northbound, 3 lanes northbound, 2 lanes southbound, plus a center turn lane.
Yep.
And they're going to come back with 2 lanes in each direction, turn lane when needed, a raised concrete median, and a sidewalk so that you don't have people trying to walk through God knows what to get to work or to travel around the town. It's going to take 2 years.
Has there ever been a sidewalk there?
No, this will be new. Obviously, there are some folks that are not thrilled about the construction that's coming. There's
Imagine
some
that.
business owners that aren't happy about the turn lane restrictions. We've talked about this on the show. So there is now a change.org petition to stop the project that is starting next week. It's been signed by more than 300 people, and it's appealing to, I believe, to Senator Jeff Rotz,
And the governor.
and to Governor Braun. Maybe you can chop her in and talk. Hear them. We have a helipad out at the hospital.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Is this going to be like all the way through town?
So the job is going to start at State Road 38 and it's going to go all the way down to essentially our Walmart. The first wave of construction is going to go from McDonald's basically to Broad Street
Gross.
on one side of the road. You can have 1 lane open in each direction. I see sadness in Chase's face right now.
I'm curious. I think the people's biggest issue is it's going to be laid out like Greenfield with the big center median, and it's like so. I think they only put left-hand turn lanes where there's basically intersections. Yeah, signal. And so there's stretches of like 3 where there's not an intersection between Cherry Street, which is at the cemetery. The next light is at McDonald's, which is, and there, I guess you could say there's not a lot there, but like there's situations where like if you want to go to like Cafe Royale and you're going north, do you have to go all the way to Cherry Street and then turn around and drive the length of the cemetery back? Or that'll be interesting to see. It seemed like you said
what's the benefit of having a median?
So
less spots for people to turn and get in accidents,
not get T-boned and have to say you're a motorcyclist that just left Buffalo Wild Wings, and you're trying to. And we won't use meetups because there's a light there. Say you are somebody that just got your car washed at the Clancy's, and you're trying to go south, and you're going to pull out across 2 lanes of traffic on wet tires, and then jump into the median. They're trying to keep you from getting yourself T-boned and hitting the door and killed.
You're just trying
I'll
to
take my chances. I've been doing it my whole life. I'll sign a petition.
Everybody here is an expert. I think this petition has no chance to work.
It's only got 320 signatures. I think part of it's like you guys had a chance. They've been discussing this for like a while. I don't know how many of them showed up to the meetings, and
I don't think there was any changing it. You're not going to.
no.
I don't think there was any chance the design was going to change. It is what it is. I know that if I've driven on the road, it's impossibly bad.
It is fun, and I guess you comment this too because you were in Pittsburgh. And you came back. I went to Kentucky over the weekend. Kentucky one has better roads and free state parks. No entry to state parks. State parks are in great shape. They're not laying people off or whatever. I could tell, but you literally got back, and like 75 is gorgeous. That's a great stretch of road. And then you go on to 275 and it's like, this isn't great. You start getting to the end. Then 74 is worse. Then 3 is a mess comparatively. And then you get to 3 in Newcastle. And 3 in Newcastle is horrible. Like you're getting rattled. Your fillings are out of your teeth. Or bent wheels. I'll complain about my bent wheels. But yeah, it needs rebuilt. NDOT loves to come in and say, you know what, we know how to design things. And then you go up Broad Street and look at our crosswalks and look at how great they are at designing things, and they're not. Sometimes it makes no sense. We'll see. Everybody will have to adapt to it. They'll learn.
It's become viral on the TikTok and other Reels pages. Truckers coming into Indiana from Ohio and immediately
that video is fantastic.
Hitting roads that are bumping like crazy. That is an active construction site. I drove through hours ago. Cracker's demo is out there in that construction zone, knocking out bridges right now. There are cranes on site. There are lanes reduced.
That video is fantastic.
It's finally getting fixed
because it's like a 7.5 earthquake just hits his truck when he hits the state line, and then it gets better at the end of the video but that first section right at 70 and 40 is horrendous. Right next to the fireworks store.
74 is pretty good.
74 is not bad.
74 is a very nice, barely traveled interstate.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love it.
The thing that's the most shocking is that 70 is a literal artery for the entire Midwest and Eastern United States in terms of trucker traffic. And it's in Indiana, seemingly the most neglected interstate. 69 gets all this attention. 74 is just kind of there. It's fine. But like I said, 69's gotten all this built new stretches.
I-74 has probably 20% of the traffic.
Yeah.
It's not
bad. But like, it seems like 70 should almost be on its own in terms of, because like 69 important? Yes, it's important until you get to like 116th Street, and then after that it turns in like every other road. It's not that well traveled. And 70 is so much trucker traffic and so much general traffic. Today was another day where I got out of the construction and they're adding a new construction. They've added a new construction after you got out of the first construction, but I was stuck behind a semi for like 10 minutes because there's only 2 lanes and they wouldn't get over. So yeah.
If you're a patron, you get the show notes, and there's just a blank spot that says County News ?
Do we have county news?
There's a story of brewing, boys and girls.
Oh, boy.
There's a
boy.
story of brewing.
Get your raincoats.
Watch this space.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a story from today's Henry County Council planning meeting. Apparently, they had there's a committee, I think it's a finance committee, that has 3 members. And if any more than 3 members of a committee show up, then they have to advertise it as a public meeting because there's a quorum. And then you can't have the meeting because there were too many people there. It sounds like the 3 committee members were there today, and then another county council person showed up and wanted to be a part of it and was told, no, you can't be there. And they had to call the county attorney, then came in and said, hey, y'all can't have this meeting unless one of you leaves. I've only heard one side of the story so far, but I think this might become a thing. So stay tuned.
Make that make sense for me.
Why is that? So there are committees, right?
Yes.
So there's a committee that might handle, not everybody has to be a part of every conversation that's happening on the council.
Okay.
Right. So the city council might have a traffic committee.
Yeah, they have a traffic committee and
or
this committee.
there's a budget committee for the county council, or there's one that's going to deal with labor issues. There's one that's going to work on a special project. So the committee that was meeting today, there were 3 of them, and you can have up to 3 of the 7 members. If you have more than if you have enough to actually pass something, then it has to become a public meeting. It has to be advertised.
Okay.
This was just a working committee meeting. Theoretically, you can have up to 3 members
So it's
present
3
and talk
members
about
for
something.
a reason
Yes.
to follow this rule.
Yes, to
And
follow
then,
the rule. If you
A
have more
random
than that,
4th show.
now it's a commit. Now it's actually an action.
Because they
meeting.
could take action as a council and pass something that nobody knows that they met.
Right.
So that's the problem.
Right. And then theoretically you're in violation of open door laws, which we've covered ad nauseum on this show. So this might be a thing. I don't know yet. I don't know where it's going to go, if anybody's going to make a thing of it, but it's out there.
Was the 4th person somebody who should know better?
Yes. The 4th person is somebody that's definitely not new to county government. I've only heard one side of the story. I also heard that they said weeks ago that, hey, we can just advertise this as a meeting if you want to, but they chose not to. They said, I don't think it's a problem. And then everybody showed up, and then it was a problem, and they had to say, y'all can't be here.
They're good at that. I mean, that does sound like one of those things where like you don't think but yeah, it's a rule for a reason. And even if they don't do something.
Yeah. And then the conversation is, okay, if you're not at a microphone and you're just in the crowd as a member of the public, does that count? I don't know. That's a gray area to me. Can you just sit in the audience and watch quietly? And if you're an elected official, do you have
if they say something you don't like, you just go
right, Chase. I mean, could you, if you don't like something and you're a member of the body, but you just have to sit there and be quiet? Could you sit there and be quiet throughout a meeting for 2 hours, or do you just glare? How do you do it? I don't know.
working on hand signals.
Yeah, that's interesting. The idea of a quorum is like I'm on a board, and it's funny because we don't necessarily know who all is going to show up. And it's because I'll walk in sometimes a few minutes late and like, oh, there we go. Got a quorum. We can do something today. And
now
like,
you can actually take action.
It's a very official thing.
So I don't know what's going to happen. Stay tuned. It might be a story for next week, or it may blow over and be nothing. But came out today. And like I said, this was supposed to be a Thursday show, but Chase is doing his thing tomorrow, so we had to move it up.
Sorry.
Maybe we'll come back in here tomorrow night, like 10 o'clock, and just fire up the cameras if Chase gets the goat blood off. Did you guys do anything for April Fools? Did you get to see some cool April Fool stuff? Did you get taken by anything? Any posts?
There was one I thought for a second. I saw one about F1 that said Verstappen was going to go to it used to be
AlphaTauri, the B team.
But the only reason I believed it for a second was because their car's better. So like there have been things about trying to find a way to get him in that car because it's better. So I'm like, it's a skirting of the rules. Maybe this is actually a thing. But other than that, I saw some that were kind of funny. What was the one I saw that was? Oh, Todd Rakia's was horrible.
Todd Rakita had one.
His was that he got
Indiana's Attorney General.
He was converted by the woke, and he took his "Come Take It" flag and replaced it with a pride flag. That was his he posted 2 pictures. That was his April Fool's. I'm real big on April Fool's jokes that like go after people. That's real fun.
Chase, did you see Aaron Rodgers' April Fool's joke?
I did not.
Why don't you
was it a retiring
He
thing?
retired. Yeah, he was retiring.
Yeah. The one that got me was the NFL said they were going to use technology to spot the ball, but that ended up being true. But they released it on April Fool's. I was like, that would have been cool. And then the next day they were still talking about it. So I was like, it must have been true.
Tiger got me.
They're still going to have the chain gang, but
they're just
only
a backup.
as secondary.
They're just there as a prop.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods got you?
Yeah.
He made a post. I was just scrolling. It's a Tiger Woods. Okay, well, Tiger goes through rehabless recovery and whatever. The doctors have got my Achilles back together, and I will be playing in the Masters. So I'm looking at the Masters app like, okay, Tiger's back in. I'm now really excited.
I saw an Instagram post that said
Nope.
Will Power was going to retire, and I double checked that one. The one of the funnier ones was that. The funny was the comments were good. The Newcastle Chamber of Commerce posted that they were going to put a moving sidewalk in downtown, and the funniest comment was Councilman Mark Coger says, "Great, I can't wait for the next city council meeting when people think that this is actually real." And I comment, "You're just going to end up with a bunch of old people trapped at the plaza who can't get out because they couldn't get off the sidewalk to their car."
It's only a one-way plaza.
It's only one way.
It's like a
It takes them.
It's like a minnow trap, and now they're all stuck in 1400 Plaza.
They couldn't get off fast enough at their car when they left the wine bar.
What triggered me to put this in here was Jack's Donuts. They have classically had great April Fool's things, and they announced their new line of shampoo and conditioner.
I thought that was real actually at first too. I was like, we are really bad. This is not good.
He's had lip balms. It depends on what it smells like. There are people that 100% buy some kind of scented product from him that smelled like donuts. You could pick the donut.
There was I think they had one year they announced a salmon donut, which is great. But it was Jack's Donuts hair care. It said it elevates your pep and energy. It prevents dullness and increases shine. It enhances joy, and it's safe for daily use. And it said the ingredients were caramel, cinnamon, sugar, and chocolate. And the conditioner was going to include cocoa, Bavarian vanilla, and applesauce. I thought that was great.
Yeah, and it looked good too. Somebody spent some time on the graphic art part of that one. Yeah, I saw a bunch, but none of them were like great. Some of them were like kind of mean because it was like, man, I really like to see that. BMW teased a racing station wagon, like an M3 Grand Touring GT3, and it looked really sick. I'd actually like to see that built. It was a tease.
Speaking of racing, Chase Peyton, congratulations.
Thank you. I am the IndyCar Rain Man.
You are leading the Wall BHOL Fantasy IndyCar standings.
Mm-hmm. Ask me how many IndyCar races I've watched in my lifetime.
More than me, I
Obviously
bet.
10 or 20.
0. I feel like the girlfriend who picks the drivers based on their uniforms.
You were in the top 1% of all pickers on the planet after the first week.
It's pretty good.
And then this last week, you
dethroned Chris Spangle,
the dear leader of this network.
Yeah.
How long are you going to keep this up?
I think I'm
17 races in. Will you ever give up the points lead, or when do you think you're going to lose it? Two of 17 in.
I think I'm going to fall off this coming race.
At Long Beach.
I lost my boy. What's his name?
Alex Palou.
I should have signed him for longer. I think I will have a comeback by the following race.
Because you're going to sign Alex Palou again for 5 weeks.
I went purely based off, I've heard Jeremiah mention this name. Let me sign this guy.
Chase, I looked at it and said, he's so expensive. There's no way he could go up in value. I can't afford him. So I said, I can't do that. Chase Sain's my guy. And
I should have signed him longer.
P1. He's won every race. You're going to look like a freaking hero because he's probably going to crash at Long Beach, finish 20th, and then you're going to sign him for cheaper for 5 races, and he'll go on and win 4 out of 5.
Yep.
That's the way this is going to go down, and you're just like the golden, gifted, blessed one when it comes to this.
Is third place Blake Reese?
What does it say?
Reese's Pieces?
No, Chase.
Who's a piece
Zach,
of Reese? I don't know these names.
Aaron Ewert.
Aaron Ewert's on down, though.
I know.
He's got 2 different teams.
Aaron has, I didn't want to tell you this way, but he has a new lady friend.
Oh.
I don't know if she'll be with us through the end of the season. But
don't ask questions. You'll want answers to people.
But she is currently in 3rd place overall. And she'll be in attendance at Long Beach.
With a relatively eclectic team. Like it's Newgarden, Kirkwood, Pato, Rossi, Graham, and VK. She's kind of got like the number ones from like
all the teams.
Yeah.
Except for Ganassi.
Yeah.
Who is a GR user 003855251?
Somebody that doesn't know how to set up their name.
Because he has more money than me, and I'm not real happy about that.
GR user what was it?
Is there's another name that goes with it?
Yeah. KROB17R.
That's Kyle Robbins, a member of Prema Racing.
Yeah,
he's on a team.
Yeah.
He's on the 83 car.
He jumped in on the chat, and I was like, I did not know he was in this chat. That is not.
He was posting pictures in the Wall Racing fan chat from pit road.
Literally.
During the race. Between pit stops, he's got a lot of time on his hands, guys.
Yeah, he's the only one that has more money than me. I'm not a big fan of him.
So you have more money than everybody else?
Besides him.
So you have had a strategy pick of choosing the cheapest people.
Yep.
And going up. So what's your team budget now? You have a totally different strategy. Nobody knows what's going to be right because this is the first year. But you heard this, and the one thing you picked up on was, I want to run this like I'm the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I want to make as much money as I can. And you didn't care about points or winning games.
Not yet. No.
You want the maximum budget, and maybe in the back half of the year, you're going to have more money than God and have like just killer after killer after killer after killer.
Yes.
This is your goal.
I have 109.4.
Everybody started with
worked
100.
really well for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Everybody started with, but he wants to spend the money at the end of the year.
I want to spend that.
They want to just keep it.
Yeah.
So you have 109 million in your war chest.
Yes.
How much does Chase Peyton have in first place, looking down upon all of us? How much does he have in his war chest?
He has,
now that he has to go replace Alex Palou for race 3. That's the question. This is for math nerds.
He's 0.3 million behind me.
He's
200,000 behind me.
So he is equal with you on money.
No, he's not.
With basically 2 wins.
I can afford 3 new Denali's.
Listen, I'm basically the LA Dodgers of racing. I'm just gonna find the money somewhere.
Yeah.
Just defer it.
He's going to go down to the Mexican. He's going to go down to the Mexican League and
next
sign somebody
season.
for a
I'm going to have nothing.
We're deferring payments till 2038 on some of these guys.
Baba Benila is going to be okay though. Chase, I'm amazed, and I think I'm top 10. There's like 42 active players in this thing, something like that.
Well, the first week I just set my drivers, and I was just going based off names, and I was like, man, I really hope I don't come in last. And I forgot to check it the first couple days after the race. And I finally checked it. And I was like, holy shit, I'm second. And I was like, man, I got to replace some of these guys. Let me do some stat looking here. And I did. And then I forgot to check again. And I eventually looked and I was like, holy shit, I'm in first place.
the best you've ever done. And I play in fantasy football with you every year.
And then the amount of NFL content I
consume
throughout the year is ungodly.
You are consistently like 4 wins in fantasy football.
And I have never won a fantasy football championship.
This time you're in a league with 4 times as many players. There's 12 guys in a fantasy league. There's 40 some in this.
Yeah.
And you're P1.
I'm P1.
with in third place in money. Only $200,000 behind the.
The good news is I'm not in last place.
Who's in last place?
I don't know, some guy who hasn't scored a point.
Oh, that person doesn't count.
Why not?
Because they haven't picked anybody.
He's in the league.
They did DNS.
They don't say the same thing about the Bears. They're in the fucking league, but they don't score a point.
They were on the field for 60 minutes.
Defense wins championships. championship.
Zach Burcham, Jay Fry has got a new job.
Yeah.
Who's Jay Fry?
Jay Fry is was he the director of competition?
He was the president of IndyCar.
And he's
Not
kind
the
of
same Jay Fry, I know.
And yeah, he got canned because I think he doesn't say yes, sir, right away, sir. And he got picked up by Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan, which somebody thought he was going to get picked up, but I think a lot of people thought he was going to get picked up by Aero McLaren because they lost their guy in the offseason. So
this guy's resume is it's a fascinating business scenario.
He's been around and he's done a little everything.
He's a dude from Missouri. He played college football, tight end at Missouri. He then got a job in marketing for Budweiser, St. Louis, Missouri guy.
Yep.
He gets assigned to the NASCAR account. So he's Budweiser's guy. They send him to North Carolina and he gets plugged in the NASCAR world. Does really well. Makes a ton of connections. He's a beer guy with NASCAR money. Everybody's going to like him.
Yeah.
And he's super social. He then gets hooked up with Valvoline, which has ungodly money in motorsports. Wins a bunch of races with Jack Roush, Mark Martin, and Valvoline in the 90s. Valvoline likes him so much that they let him basically use Valvoline money to buy into a NASCAR team, and he becomes an owner. They win a race with Johnny Benson. I think he then sells it, makes a shit ton of money. And then Red Bull. You guys have heard of Red Bull.
Yeah.
They're doing pretty good in racing, right?
Yeah.
He was the guy that started the Red Bull NASCAR Cup team. Mixed results, but it's not easy to start a team with nothing. He oversees that performance, and then he leaves NASCAR. He gets hired as like the chief marketing officer for IndyCar. Comes over here. He's the president of IndyCar, and now he's just gotten hired to run the Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan racing team. It's a crazy story. Like the resume is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
To me.
Chrissy Avery said she won her fantasy league last year. She probably picked all Lions.
Probably the Lions, yeah.
Lions players.
I mean, if she's going to lean in and choose all Dan Campbell's guys, and you're going to choose Eberflus's fluffers.
Listen, it's sad for her because the Lions are so last season. It's the Bears' season this year. We got their best coach. Their other best coach just left the Lions. You know what Dan Campbell's record was the season before Ben Johnson took over? Before Ben Johnson took over that season, the Lions were 1-6. Ben Johnson took over offensive play calling. The Lions almost made it to the playoffs.
Who hired Ben Johnson?
Matt Patricia.
Dan Campbell. He promoted him. He was on the staff for Patricia, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I think Dan Campbell's an impressive man.
I like Campbell.
NFL head coaches, personality wise, is there anybody that you would rather play for? He's another scrappy guy.
He cries
he's a tight
lot.
end. I've seen you cry, bitch.
That's true. I would probably love Dan Campbell. We'd probably get along. He'd chew tobacco. I'd love him.
You know when Detroit had the Grand Prix the first weekend, the first year he was the head coach, he did a press conference in an IndyCar helmet. He was so excited about the Grand Prix coming to town. That's who that dude is.
He seems like a good guy.
Mike McDaniel
it's a shame
or Dan
we're
Campbell?
Gonna beat their ass this year.
Mike McDaniel or Dan Campbell? Who are you choosing?
Oh, Dan
with.
Campbell for sure. Mike McDaniel was cool until they started losing, and now he's just annoying. He's just that weird guy that vapes in the corner. I would much rather play for a guy who's just chewing a big chaw. You know.
Are you? John Phillips wants to know what's your team name for the league.
Shake and Bake 95.
What were you?
Mr. Bones.
Mr. Bones. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think I'm what the hell was my team name?
I don't know.
Gopolo. I don't know. Christy is Walmom. Yeah. You don't have any. I was gonna ask Bones if he thinks. Oh, that's the question anyway. You think Jay Fry is going to make a difference at Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan? Is going to really turn their season around?
I think so.
Yep. Big chance for them to do better.
Can't get worse, can they?
I'm 9th place overall.
That's pretty good.
My team is.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks. Top 10, man. Listen, I think I get to give a speech. My team name is Jeremiah Morrell. So if you can't figure out which team is mine, I made it really easy for everybody.
Or you made it easy for yourself.
That too. Yeah. And Alex Pillow is in my photograph in there. and I don't have him on my team. I have $105 million on my $105.2 million is my my value.
I can buy a lot more Denali's than you can.
You can. I'm over $4 million behind you. Thomas Oakes is just ahead of you. Patron, major sponsor of the show, Thomas Oakes. But you have $8 million more than him. So who's winning?
It's true.
You made $5 million this week.
Yeah,
in yours. That's impressive. That's really impressive.
I'm kind of an impressive person.
Newcastle veteran Mason Gillis.
I'm out in this conversation.
Who does he play for?
He plays for a 4-letter team that's from North Carolina.
They're not.
You got to use your microphone, buddy, Mr. Bones.
They're not from North Carolina.
Duke basketball has made the Final Four. Mason Gillis, second Final Four in a row.
It's pretty impressive.
Chase, you and I went and watched him play at least 2 or 3 times in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
When that team the Trojans were going through, we did the sectionals and the regionals.
I remember,
and we enjoyed that basketball. That we knew there was a spark there, and it was a big deal. And we got into Newcastle basketball for that 2 weeks, and we enjoyed it, and we were a part of the community. And now here we are 4 or 5 years later.
It was just like watching Steve Alford back in the day.
Same thing. Steve Alford didn't make it to back-to-back Final Fours.
True.
He did win one. No, didn't he? Yeah, he won.
Yeah, he
won one. But not back-to-back.
It's true.
So last year he was with Purdue. This year Purdue made it to the Elite 8, but not the Final Four. Or Sweet 16. Yeah. They lost to Houston.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
So Sweet 16.
Nobody knows. They made it to Sweet 16 weekend. I don't know. Whatever. It was the Friday night. So it was the Sweet 16.
They made it. No.
They lost.
They lost in the Elite 8.
They lost in the Elite 8 by 2 points to Houston to not make the Final Four. But Mason Gillis advances. You got 4 teams. Were you guys upset that Indianapolis played in the Lucas Oil Stadium instead of Gainbridge last weekend?
I feel like everything's in Lucas Oil. I don't think it's makes that big of a difference.
I have watched a basketball game in a football stadium. It's not much fun. I mean, I had a blast because it was North Carolina National Championship 2017.
Was that full building, or was it turned sideways?
Full building.
Yeah. So this was turned sideways in the end zone.
Yeah.
Are you a North Carolina fan?
Well, just a little bit of one. Yeah.
You owe me $3,000.
You're going to have to get in line, okay?
2 years ago when they lost in the championship game, I had picked them from the start, and I would have won $3,000. And I was staring at the cash out money.
That would have
at the beginning of the game, and it was like $1,200, and I was like, I feel good about it. And then they were up by like 20 at halftime. They didn't even check the cash out at that point. I'm like, there's no way they lose this game. They blew the biggest lead in championship game history.
That would have bought a 2009 Ford truck.
Yeah.
That
probably would have got us
year,
pretty close.
That same year,
I haven't got it.
I tried to pick the Final Four. I hit 3 out of the 4 teams. The one team that screwed me was Houston, and they lost the game to go to the Final Four. Would have won $30,000.
Chase, can you tell us about the big wins you had, though?
I came out. I didn't win anything this year. I came out winning maybe 1,400 that year in March Madness, and it was all thanks to Duke losing to St. Peter's. Or no, Purdue.
Oh yeah,
sorry.
Final thoughts, Zach Burcham, before we have to call the gambling hotline for Chase.
1-800 get with it.
I don't think I have much. Hopefully the weather isn't as bad as they say it is. If we're in that season where it's like we had frost yesterday, 80 degrees today, and every time it gets warm, it gets stormy and windy. But
it was 40-something degrees this morning when I left Pittsburgh. I drove across Ohio, got home, and it was 82 degrees. And I said, this is not good. It is too early in the year for it to be this hot.
Yeah.
It is. It's pure trouble. The big rain line is approaching the west side of Indianapolis. It's about to get real, folks. Terre Haute we probably lost Terre Haute. There's no window over Terre Haute now. It's all red.
In a podcast one time, I heard someone call Terre Haute Terry Hot. So that is now how I will refer to that the rest of my life.
Terrible Haute.
Oh, one of the things you can tell if people are from around here or not is how they pronounce certain places.
Cadiz.
Cadiz, Versailles,
Cadiz.
they'll say Versailles, and then one of them is Carmel. They'll call Carmel. It's like, yo, this isn't the West Coast.
It's Carmel.
It's Carmel.
It's Carmel.
Caramel by the cornfields. Is it VV or Vive?
It's VV. It's VV.
I've always heard Vive.
It's what it looks like.
I think it's VV is what they call it. If you live down there, they call it the Southerners. Bones is our Southern Indiana expert. VV.
South of 40.
whatever the most simple pronunciation is what the South will choose to use. Zach, you made it down to Kentucky and back with your tractor that you drive.
Yeah.
No troubles. Everything was happy. It all woke up good. Survived the winter. The camper was good.
Yeah.
Your Walnut Ridge camper.
The slide went out when I got there. That was the first time I put the slide out. Was when I got there. So yeah, that was good. I'm dealing with some little issues I need to get looked at on, but otherwise, it needs springs. I've got a couple of plumbing things I need to address. One of them I tried to last year, but no, everything worked.
I think the springs, we can do that in my driveway. We packed your wheel bearings 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think the springs, you, me, and Chase can
we'll
crack. It's probably at 1 case of beer operation.
We need to cut. Well, the only thing I need to address on it is whether or not I have a bent axle. There's a chance I have.
Yeah, we can replace the axle too.
Well, we're doing the rest of the springs are like
axle too.
$60 a set, or the springs are cheap. I need to get under there and measure. But like my camper's sitting about 3 inches lower than it was when I bought it, and it's actually the tires that hit the top of the wheel well a time or two. So I think
have they worn through to the wood? Is the little plastic?
Yeah, in a spot there is. Yeah.
Yep.
And which is
ask
great.
me how I know that could happen.
Yeah, and so
one of us broke a leaf spring on their camper on I-70.
Well, and I broke a hanger off, so like we're gonna need a cutting wheel because one of those nuts was one of the bolt heads was what the trailer was riding on for a minute because it literally broke over, and then it shifted over enough that was sitting on the frame. But no, everything else worked. Like trailer brakes worked, and I didn't forget how to hook it up and unhook it. So yeah, it was an uneventful. I got there and got back on the same tires I left on. That's always the first victory.
You didn't just do some local little easy tow for your first trip out. You didn't go to Summit Lake.
Nope.
You just jumped in and went, hundreds of miles from home.
So the weather, the last couple of weeks, the way the weather has been, it's nice during the week, and then the weekend has gone kind of south. And so my camper lives in a barn. Friend of the show, Jeff Watterson's very gracious and lets my camper winter at his house. And so I didn't want to go in the middle of the week. I'm kind of busy. And so then I don't want to go in the weekend and tear his yard up with my heavy truck. Or I didn't want to pull it out and then immediately have a storm front blow through. And then like, great, now my camper's outside and a tree's going to fall on or something. So yeah, I pulled it out on Friday and then left to go on the trip on Wednesday. And the only thing I'd done is run water through the system and made sure the water system pressurized. That's all I'd done.
You had dewinterized it. Bones, you invited me since there was no podcast last week. Zach was spring breaking. You invited me over to hang out with all your bourbon friends. You said, "Hey, expect like 10 or 12 people." There were 4 of us. All of your friends were there.
More than what you have.
All my friends are here. That's 4. You had me try we're big Parks and Recreation fans around here. The Pyramid of Greatness is in the background here. Ron Swanson's Pyramid of Greatness. Ron Swanson's favorite beverage. Do you know this, Chase? Do you know what Ron Swanson's favorite drink is?
What is it?
Lagavulin 16. It is a scotch.
How was it?
Have you ever tried it? Have you had scotch?
I don't think I've ever had scotch.
I've had scotch. This was not like any scotch I had had before. Nope. It is, the best way I can explain it is if you went into a casino and you took the air and you bottled it and infused it into alcohol. It is liquid smoke. It tastes like you're drinking a casino.
Yeah. Nice.
That's exactly what it tastes like. Am I wrong, Bones?
No, you're
a smoker, so I can see why you like it.
We'll get to that here shortly. But yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, we need to bring it in here and have
others try it
and have Zach smell it.
Zach, is there any alcohol we could bring in that you'd be like, I'll try it just to try it?
No, probably not.
Okay.
It smells like nail polish.
It is, as far as distinctive things go, It tastes nothing like it, but it's about as distinctive as Jägermeister. Like it's like if you lined up 5 different spirits on the table, you would immediately know what that is. Yes, that's what Jaeger is. It's the same thing. It's not.
I like.
It's
Jaeger.
an acquired taste. Maybe here's the next blind we do, Bones.
Okay.
I have a bottle of Malort. I have a bottle of Malort. You bring in the Lagavulin. We'll bring in some Jaeger, and then like a bourbon and a tequila. And let's tell nobody what's what, and just see if we can play. We'll see if people can place them.
And then it'll just be a party of 2. It'll just be me and Jeremiah.
We won't tell them what they're going to be. We're just going to bring in 5 spirits and just see what happens. Chase, are you in?
I'm in.
All right. I'm sold.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for inviting that. Next time I come, I'm going to bring the Malort.
Okay. Next time there will be more people.
It will probably be your very last testing.
Yes.
If I bring that.
Yes, it will.
Then I'll get a reputation. In
more than what you already have.
He does a blind at his deal, and it's choose this or choose that, and he picked like 2, I don't know, $700 bottles of whatever.
Yeah, probably secondaries at 700 on them.
Yeah, Christy, LOL Malort, exactly. Yeah. Do you know where Malort is famous?
Chicago.
Yeah, it's your Chicago.
I've never tried it.
I've got a bottle, just waiting on the right day.
Never heard.
I've
anything
tried
about
it, but I've not ever heard one good thing.
Yeah, I've never heard a good thing about it.
I have a bottle for when the Bears win the Super Bowl. It's just sitting there waiting for us to crack it open.
That will be the night, Jared. I will drive over to your house and we will crack it open.
Just waiting to crack it open. No, we're doing it in a blind. I think this is.
Yeah.
I bought it for the podcast for a bit, and I think this is it.
Okay.
We're going to do Lagavulin, Malort, and a variety of other choices.
How much was the Malort?
I had my people purchase it.
Okay.
I don't even know. It couldn't have been much.
I was going to say it's so little that you didn't even care.
It did not. There was. It's not a 3-digit bottle. Okay. It was not
a 2-digit bottle.
I hope it cost at least $10. I hope. Any other final thoughts, Bones?
Yeah. If I've seemed a little edgy for anybody who's last talked to me for the last week, I have quit smoking.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'm quitting smoking.
Wait, time out. How long have you quit for?
I am down to 5 a day.
Okay.
So
it's pretty good.
I mean, I can tell there's an improvement because you didn't go outside between Patreon and the show.
So
how are you controlling this? Did you say, okay, I've got a carton?
Nope.
And I'm only going to have, this is how many I have, and I'm not buying any more? How do we do this?
I've come to the fact that I have less than a pack left. I'm not buying any more.
Okay.
I am on Chantix or whatever they call it.
Is that a gum?
No, it's
a sticker?
It's a pill.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So,
have you tried taking more than one that you're supposed to have?
they want me to increase the dosage every so many days.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I am sorry for anybody who has talked to me and I have seen edgy. I don't mean to be. Okay.
Well, I'm excited for you.
I'm far not.
You've earned some Malort.
I went 31 hours without chewing tobacco one time, and I had to start chewing tobacco because I could not sleep. And I was like, I have to go to work tomorrow. This is ridiculous.
I'm not there yet.
I think you could do it.
I think I can do it too.
I think you could do it. I think it's going to be okay.
And if you can't, I mean,
if I can, I can. Yeah. We'll figure out something else to quit.
I mean, it's not like you're going to start vaping and just annoying us all with that.
No. Fuck no. It looks like I drive a Subaru.
Final thoughts, Chase Peyton?
So there was one April Fool's commercial that got me last year. And it was that they were bringing back the Trans Am.
Okay.
I was really excited because it looked really cool. And it was fake.
That's the thing that gets teased a lot.
Yeah. It was a cool commercial, too. It looked legit. I was like, you have to buy one of these. And then it was fake.
There was an April Fool's that I sent to my father that was Oldsmobile coming back, and he distributed it around General Motors. And a lot of people got very excited.
That's epic.
General Motors having been the manufacturer of Oldsmobile.
That's great that it went around there and nobody was like, "Yo, don't you think we would know about this if this was actually a thing?"
Yeah, it happens.
Oh, rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Yes. What's your favorite? So Gene Hackman, we talked about him when he passed. And we talked about the roles they're known for. Val Kilmer, immediately, when you think of Val Kilmer, what role, what movie?
Iceman. Top Gun.
Yep. All right. Top Gun. Gun.
Same. Yeah.
Chase, is he Batman to you?
Either Top Gun or I can't even think of the name.
The
Tombstone.
Doors.
Doc Holliday.
Yeah, Doc Holliday.
Yeah. To me, he was Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
And his portrayal of Doc Holliday is Indiana legend John Green talks about tuberculosis and trying to beat down tuberculosis. And every time I think of it, I think of his portrayal of Doc Holliday dying of tuberculosis. That's always when John Green talks about tuberculosis, I always think about Val Kilmer and that. And I guess the Jim Morrison one much more recent?
No.
Or is that a long time ago?
Yeah, Doors has been out. Yeah,
Okay.
that movie.
He just did something in the last 4 or 5 years.
Top Gun again.
No, before that. I think it was shot, I could be wrong, but it was kind of shot guerrilla style. I could be wrong. He was very irrelevant for a long time. And then in the last 4 or 5 years, his career kind of made a recovery.
But he had DM cancer?
Yeah, throat cancer.
He looks
Better or worse than Gene Hackman at the end?
They recognizable, so better. But like he looked Top Gun, he is like dying in Top Gun. Remember, he dies.
He dies in Top Gun.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet. Thanks for ruining the asshole.
Oh, that's not
spoiler alert.
Man, it's on streaming.
It was actually, I like that one.
I did too. I thought it was good.
Okay, the only thing I have with Top Gun Maverick is it can't decide what it wants to be.
Yeah.
Is it a sequel or is it an homage? Because there's so many crazy parallels.
Yeah. Why can't it be both?
Well, it tries to be a bit of both. I'm just not sure that's quite a. I wish they would have kind of picked one. I'm trying to see if it was in anything recent. But of course, the movie list online is not in chronological order. So
I watched that Bob Dylan movie.
Yes. Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. Yeah. There wasn't as much smoking as I expected, Jerry. You oversold that.
Yeah,
I oversold the smoking.
Definitely.
I feel like they were.
Bob
It
Dylan
wasn't
in the
at
60s?
a Mad Men level.
I feel like they were smoking through the entire movie.
It was also the 60s. What else did they do in the 60s?
It's true.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
I thought there was a cigarette on the screen the entire movie.
You're just a little too woke, I think. Anymore.
I think you're over edgy, sir.
I am edgy.
You enjoyed the music more than you did the theater of the music of the smoking.
Yeah. It was a good one.
Fair enough. All right, guys, I'm wiped. We've done over an hour. I've driven 1,000 miles.
I gotta take the dog out.
You're maybe a little edgy too.
I got it down his shirt. Wow, that was a left-handed throw too. That was my weak hand. You should have, if I had really launched it, you'd be missing it too.
Is that your driving hand?
How do you drive? Left hand, right hand on the wheel?
Left hand.
Yeah. Chase?
Left.
I go left hand on the wheel, right hand on the shifter. That does nothing.
Yeah.
It's just there for stabilization.
Yeah. If I don't have the shifter there, I'm lost.
Yeah. If you got a Ram truck with a knob on the front, you don't know where the hell to put your pants, whatever.
Yeah.
You're done.
Well, then at that point, I'm questioning life because I bought a Dodge Ram.
Where you drive with your left hand, Zach?
Primarily right, but then I'm switch back and forth.
How the hell do you drive with the right with a stick shift all the time? You got your hands everywhere. You're very busy.
Left in the car, right in the trucks. Like I'm back and forth.
You're ambidextrous.
Yeah, I'm ambidextrous.
You know who scares me? Two-handed drivers. Like you look over and they just got two hands on the
They're
wheel.
Just nervous.
They are nervous, and I have no idea. I have no idea what they're going to do next.
How do they even text?
If it's windy enough, I'm towing.
Yeah, how are they switching the podcast they're listening to?
How do they skip commercials? Nobody knows. All right, guys, this has been fun. Thank you very much for making the effort and being here. Get home safe. Avoid the donators. Use your basement if you need to. Be weather aware. Remember, send your wife and kids downstairs before you go to the porch to watch the tornado. And we used to say horizontal, but just don't flip it, right? Go, if you're going to take the tornado video, you want to go viral on TikTok, nice and vertical, film the whole thing. Don't get hurt, but get a good footage.
By your local trailer park, that usually happens there.
Yep, that's it. All right. Happy vlogging. We'll see y'all in a week.